Darn it. O.J. died. We're so sad. This report from December 16, 1995 was in between the criminal trial and the civil proceedings. O.J. wanted the evidence back. Gee, why? Well, good news is he recently had his appearance at the final hearing. Hope he got the correct sentence this time.
A cigarette butt, receipts for a fake goatee and mustache, and other items will not be returned to O.J. Simpson anytime soon. A judge today ruled the evidence from his criminal trial will be available for use in 2 civil trials, lawsuits filed by the victims' families. Simpson, for whatever reason, still wants to tell you he's not guilty. And he's hired a film crew for an untold sum to record his message. News crews managed to catch some of today's shoot.
Now, this is the Rocky Mountain gate to my home. It's west of the house. We actually used it as an exit. And it was on this street, Rockingham, that Alan Park drove up that night of the 12th. And Alan Park was pretty consistent in his testimony, as well as what he told the police in the first interview that he did throughout the trial. And Marcia Clark was almost as consistent with her misrepresentation of this person's testimony. And it seems strange to me that the press of many of the pundits around the country chose to go with Marcia's misrepresentations instead of Alan Park's actual testimony. One thing Alan said was when he drove up this street, he didn't notice any cars on Rockingham, and he did not notice a Bronco. He didn't notice it when he drove up. He didn't notice it at one point when he drove down the middle of the street. Curiously, not along the curb when he wanted to look through this gate to see if he can see anyone in my house. I submit that he came back in the middle of the street because the Bronco would have blocked him from riding along the curb. But he also, more importantly, stated that he didn't notice this Bronco when he drove out of the Rockingham gate at a time when I think everybody agreed that the Bronco was there. I find very interesting that if this Bronco parked askew, as the police time and time again stated, now you look at this parking job. I mean, you'd have to be, with the parking police to say that this is a bad parking job. This is a truck. And I submit it'd be pretty difficult to drive up and park a car much better than this parking job. A couple of other points about this Bronco is that a lot of talk about the mixed blood stains that were on the console. You realize there was only 7/10 of 1 drop of blood on that console. I can literally sneeze in my hand, rub it around that console, and you would probably have more DNA. Another incident that came about because of the Bronco, and I found it very indicative of everything that happened in this case, and how members of the media, pundits around this country, were so quick to jump on any negative, anything that may have made me look more guilty, was this body bag, this plastic bag, and this shovel that they found in the back of my Bronco. Now, they investigated this case for 7 or 8 months before we got to trial. They said it was an exhaustive investigation. Yet, that Friday, they showed the jury, they sprang in front of the jury and the nation, this plastic bag, which they tried to imply could have been used as a body bag, and this shovel that was in the back of my car. And of course, the media that weekend just went wild with it, and I would assume most of the people around the country who thought I was guilty say, see, what did I tell you? Well, over the weekend, they discovered that this plastic bag came with every Bronco. It was standard equipment. It came, had something to do with the spare tire, and of course the shovel was not a shovel that you would use to dig holes. It was a mucking shovel that you would use to pick up stuff. In my case, we called it a pooper scooper, and I actually had it in the back of my car because I was going over to Nicole's house. She was having some trouble with the neighbor to the north of her because the dogs were, doing their due around there, and this disgruntled ex-husband was going over there picking up the dog doo.
One of Simpson's lawyers and the writer who co-authored Simpson's book, I Want to Tell You, were on hand for the filming. The video reportedly will be sold next year.